Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show today. We are going to have a great show for you today. Today, we're going to have a great show. What is it going to be about today? Let me get that screen up if I can. I will try my utter best to get the screen up. You know, earlier today, some of our networks were kind of reacting, and you know how it goes when they react. It seems like GoDaddy had some issues with their networking, so we think we have that particularly thing licked. Anyhow, yeah, we do. Okay, let's go ahead and put that on the screen. Today's show is going to be reporters' silly COVID questions, Farid Zakaria, GOP indulge crazies, COVID-denying preacher, and more. Adam Kinzinger dispels the fraud that January 6th coup anything like BLM protests. We unwind America's COVID fiasco, assigning blame where it belongs. I don't know. There's something happening with our triggers because our triggers don't seem to be working this afternoon. Let's see about the triggering. We are going to go ahead and re-trigger a few things. But anyhow, folks, what's up? What are you thinking about? Let me know what's tickling your fancy as I re-cue many of our things. It seems like they have a deal, so they say. Do you believe it? Are we going to really get that bipartisan deal that ultimately is going to give us that $3.5 trillion deal? Will it happen? Do you think it's going to happen? I have some thoughts on that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get busy right here. Welcome aboard, Bridge MCP. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard, Nanette Bird-Smith. Welcome aboard, Jessica Taylor. Welcome aboard, AVQ, Nanette Bird-Smith. Michael Rudnin wants to put something on the screen. I'll put that on the screen later, my brother. Anybody else in the house? Let's see what we need to do here. I tell you what, Michael Rudnin, I figured out how to do invites with new Facebook sucks. I'm going to invite 200 a day for the next 25 days. I wonder how many of my 5,000s will be showing up soon. Hey, that would be great, Michael Rudnin. I think that's important because right now we've been getting most of our views. We get several thousand views, but most of it occurs on podcasts and people reacting and doing it afterwards. Yes, I would love if we had more people that did it live, more people calling in, etc. But, you know, we are not at the best time. I did a survey asking people if you wanted to change the time that we are actually doing the program. And you know what I got? For the most part, yeah, I got a lot of crickets, but a whole lot of people said, no, I'm used to you at this time of the day. I don't want you to change it. Folks, and you know, if you guys tell me that you don't want to change it, then who am I to try to change it, right? Who am I then to try to change it? So as it turns out, what did I say? I said, okay, if you guys want to keep it that way, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get into the program in a minute, but right now I'm also trying to cue all these things that need to be cued. So bear with me as we speak right now. I am getting my last or one of my most important cues in. And then as soon as I do that, the only problem that we have here is that we didn't get that thing to fire off. Anyhow. Let's get one cue off and then we'll get started with the program with what Michael Rudnin has to say there. Para ver, we're going to do it like this. We're going to do it like that. And then we're going to do it like that. And then we're going to do it like that. Okay. Let's get busy. All right. Peggy Lopez. Hi, all. Rosie the Riveter died at 99. Really? Wow. Let's see what else we got. Howdy from Bruce Pollard. Looking for some progressive Republicans. There are a lot of them out there. I meet them all the time. C. Johnson, welcome aboard. How strange. Brian Miner, act not react. Not just a preacher, a restaurateur will not serve vaccinated patrons. Exactly. All right, let's see. Bridge MCP, upstate, 6 hours up, LOL, snow country. Wait, what is that? I'm reading in reverse, so let me see. Hey all, just a quickie. We'll be leaving for a few weeks. Need to find a house, LOL. I thought you were moving to Texas with me. Need prayers. Look, Bridge, I don't think you need prayers. Everybody's going to want to have a beautiful person like you living next to them. I have no doubts whatsoever. Everett Avery Herod, afternoon, welcome aboard. Rose Williams, welcome aboard. Dimitri, welcome aboard. Okay, let's get busy. Michael Rudnan posted, drone whistleblower Daniel Hale sentenced to 45 months in prison for exposing U.S. war crimes. His crime was telling this truth. 90% of those killed by U.S. drones are bystanders, not the intended targets, said Edward Snowden. He should have been given a medal. We are being ruled by criminals. I can't argue that. I mean, this stuff about getting how all these innocent people dying because, we're trying to get that one person. We got to be careful here, because think about it. If we have criminal Americans going out there and doing things they shouldn't be doing, and somebody decide to send a drone into America and knock off somebody, and in the process knock off a lot of American citizens, do you think we are going to like that? Come on, let's be frank now. All right, Daniel Hale leaked the secrets to the press, allowing the broader journalistic investigation into the subjects. Daniel Hale appeared choked up through parts of Tuesday's judicial proceedings, but showed no remorse about his disclosures. Instead, he expressed regret about having played a part in America's drone program. Daniel Hale says, I am here because I stole something that was never mine to take, precious human life. For that, I was compensated and given a medal. I couldn't keep living in a world in which people pretended that things weren't happening that were. Please, you honor, forgive me for taking papers instead of human lives. I mean, think about that statement. Taking papers instead of human lives. Did he cause American lives by what he did? Probably not. These are difficult questions, but not difficult answers. Planet's vital signs are reaching dangerous tipping point. Amid climate crisis, scientists warn we're coming up on the beginning at the end. If our civilization doesn't properly address global warming acceleration, it'll be out of our hands in less than 10 years, and our civilization will crumble within 30 years. This isn't a problem for future generations. Though this ruins they inherit will be blamed on us. It's one most of us will see the end of ourselves. Trump officials testify to Congress about his role in Capitol attack, DOJ says. DOJ kept ruling, or can testify. DOJ kept ruling that a sitting president can't be charged, but Trump's no longer a sitting president, and he's done a lot of crimes, so it's time to charge him. Berta, this is an extra long one comprising 3 quotes from the articles read aloud only if you have time. I will have to leave this one for later, brother. Let's see what your cartoon's about. Back to blue. Okay, I can put that in there for you. Since I couldn't read your stuff, why not put your cartoon up, brother? Let's go ahead and put your cartoon up. There is a cartoon. For those of you that are on podcast, the cartoon says Trump back the blue. Trump as they stomp on the blue. Okay, the first video today, I want you to see. I want to have this mostly about COVID today, but we're going to start today with Kinzinger. I think what Kinzinger did yesterday was an important thing. Let's listen to it. I don't completely agree, but let's go ahead and listen to it. Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger, yes, he came on to the Select Committee on January 6th, but I think one of his statements went beyond. I think when I mean beyond, I think he did more than I expected him to do. I want you to listen to this, and then let's take it on the other side.
I was called on to serve during the summer riots as an Air National Guardsman. I condemn those riots and the destruction of property that resulted. But not once did I ever feel that the future of self-governance was threatened like I did on. There is a difference between breaking the law and rejecting the rule of law, between a crime, even grave crimes, and a coup. As we begin our work today, I want to call this committee's attention to the oath of office, an oath not to a party, not to an individual, but to the Constitution that represents all Americans.
For too long, Republicans have been trying to equate the January 6th terrorist attack on the United States Capitol as somehow similar to the fight for the real freedom in Black Lives Matter and other movements. After all, one was fighting because the state was attacking the bodies of POCs, the bodies of black people. The other is one who thought we were supposed to win. We thought we won. Donald Trump told us that we won, and we are overthrowing this government to make sure that Donald Trump wins. Two completely different things. One is a group of folks fighting for their humanity. The other are the ones that are just trying to effect a coup. Folks, that Adam Kinzinger said that about many in his party, that means a lot. And yeah, I think it's commendable. A lot of people want to say, oh, he's a conservative and he did support Trump at some time, and so did Cheney, Liz Cheney. And that's right. But you know what? We need people to stop doing what they were doing before and start doing the right thing. And we need, when they start doing the right thing, for the right thing that they do, to commend them for it. I hear a lot of people really hitting Liz up, including my friend. I love her show. Tiffany Cross. She was really hitting Cheney really hard. And on that one, I kind of disagree. Yeah, we have to hit Cheney hard for the conservative things, for past support of Trump, etc. But I tell you what, to make that turn is patriotic. And I think we should give her credit for that. I honestly think we should give her credit for that. Because at this point, she is one that is assisting us in ensuring we don't turn into a fascist, autocratic country. And the same applies to Kinzinger. We don't agree with them on philosophy, but we do both agree on them on saving the country. Let's see. Bruce Pollard says that burn will be on the ecosystem that the tar pits were. We better get ready. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Replying to Bridge. We're upstate. I'm right outside of Binghamton. I guess that's all you Northeasterners talking out there, because I don't know where that is. Rose Oneta, damn, we will be close, is what she said. Carl Cox. GOP voters like the crazies such as Fox News, Newsmax, and QAnon. Jessica Taylor. Let's see what else we got here. Coffee from where? Coffee from where? My coffee today is, I think, Peruvian coffee I'm drinking today, if that's what you're asking. Tiffany Cross, love her, love her, love her. Courtney SLP, welcome aboard. Carl Cox says GOP politicians and voters hate democracy. They want a banana republic, racist form of government. What they want is full power. Remember, racism is a tool. They're trying to bring out the utter racist out of everybody's carnality, right? And if they can do that, they can create friction among people, and with that, they can take power. Because while they're taking power, we are busy fighting each other, which we should not. We got to learn. We got to remember how these things work. Once we remember it, we get to love each other. We love each other. We can attack who the enemy really is. That's my goal. That's Politics Done Right's goal in this entire thing. Squito, we can't forget this betrayal. No, we cannot. Egberto, upstate New York. Heck, even New Yorkers from the city don't know where that is. I know, man. I know. Because when you think about New York, you never think about upstate New York. You never think about New York being rural in many areas. I have a friend who lives out there, and he goes out into the Catskills. I forgot the mountains out there, the oceans, etc. I'm not the oceans, the lakes, etc. All right, let's go ahead and go with the second piece here. I want you guys to listen to Fareed Zakaria, because this is a very important piece. Zakaria goes ahead and makes it clear that 600 plus thousand deaths in America could have been mitigated. Never had to happen. This is something that was actually man-made. And in the politically correct space, we should be saying human-made or person-made or whatever. But in this case, it was man-made. So I want you guys to listen to this one in detail, because it's so important what Fareed Zakaria had to say. And we'll take it. Catskills. Yeah, I think that's what Gene always says, Catskills out there in New York. Anyhow, let's listen to El Señor Fareed Zakaria, and then we'll take it on the other side. Fareed Zakaria asked the pertinent question, or he made the pertinent statement. He said, the Republican Party has indulged its crazes for too long. And you know what that has caused? It has permeated into a form that exacerbated the COVID epidemic in the United States and likely around the world. I want you to listen to this piece that he did. I cut it a bit, but listen to this piece because I think it is so important for folks to get it.
There is one striking thing that distinguishes this pandemic from all previous ones in history: the speed with which humankind came up with a vaccine. It is unprecedented and still breathtaking that within months of the arrival of a novel virus, scientists were able to develop and test several vaccines that all proved to be highly effective at preventing serious illness. But what science has given, politics seems to be taking away. Despite having ample supplies of the vaccine, America is stuck with roughly 60% of the adult population fully vaccinated, ensuring that the pandemic will linger, perhaps forever. Given the tools to end this tragedy, we are choosing to live with it. As The Economist points out, the anti-vax movement in America today is unprecedented. There have always been people who objected to vaccinations, but they were on the fringe, a smattering of naysayers. The price of these rejectionists was usually small, a few outbreaks of measles every now and then. This time, it's different. In the midst of a raging pandemic that has killed 600,000 Americans, we have seen the rise of a vast right-wing conspiracy theory about the vaccine. It has been stoked by influential figures in the conservative media and tolerated, even encouraged, by powerful Republican politicians. The results are damning. As of June, 86% of Democrats had received at least one dose, compared with just 52% of Republicans. All the states with the lowest levels of vaccination, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Wyoming, and Louisiana, voted heavily for Donald Trump. Barely half of Republican House members report being vaccinated. Now, anti-vax sentiment is not just an American problem. In many places around the world, there are segments of the population, often rural, often less educated, who are vaccine hesitant. But there are few equivalents anywhere in the world of what's happened in America, where major political forces have been propagating misinformation consistently on a wide scale about a deadly disease. In fact, American misinformation has now gone global, legitimizing and encouraging anti-vaxxers around the world. Like the US, France has had high levels of anti-vax sentiment, but political leadership seems to be changing things there. President Emmanuel Macron recently announced that health workers would be required to get vaccinated, and the unvaccinated would not be allowed to enter restaurants and cafes, go to theaters and cinemas, or take trains and planes. This new vaccine passport has drawn loud protests, but millions of French people have signed up for the vaccine since Macron announced these rules. Although France's opposition leaders oppose the policy as heavy-handed, they are not spreading misinformation about vaccines. President Biden needs to get tough. He should explain that while we cherish freedom in America, you do not have the right to do anything and everything when it endangers the lives of others or places burdens on them. Here are some things that you are forced to do even in America. Go to school, pay taxes, register for the draft if you are male, serve on a jury. There are also many things that you are not allowed to do that might be mistakenly seen as involving no one else. You may not buy or sell controlled substances, litter on public streets, make loud noise after certain hours, and so on. If you drive a car, you are required to get a license, buy insurance, wear a seatbelt, obey street signs and speed limits, have the car inspected, and not drink alcohol before driving. If you want your children to go to a public school in America, they must be vaccinated. These are all mandates because seemingly private actions actually impose public costs. You should not have the right to spread disease and occupy a precious hospital bed. Some Republican politicians and conservative media figures are finally urging people to get vaccinated, but they may be too late, as they did with the rise of Donald Trump, the allegations of voter fraud, and the accusations of a stolen election. The Republican Party has indulged its crazies for too long, fanning the flames of falsehood and creating a miasma of misinformation. Even now, leading Republican governors like Ron DeSantis are pandering to their base by making it illegal to require proof of vaccination in Florida. Republicans say that they are for economic growth and against lockdowns, but it is the Republican Party and the conservative media, by their actions and negligence, that are endangering America's economy and, far more importantly, the lives of its people.
I'm in that program, Farid Zakaria GPS. That's an important program to watch. It's more in depth, and it's more. It's not partisan in anything that it does. It's just a fact-based program on CNN. I think everybody, if you have the opportunity to do it, TiVo it, whatever. Hear me, TiVo. Record it, whatever you need to do. It's a good program to watch. But anyhow, he hits the nail on the head, Farid Zakaria. There are a lot of things that even Republicans right now know they have to do. They have to vaccinate against measles, mumps, varicella, all these different things. And they have to have a driver's license. They have to have insurance. How did this coronavirus become such a big issue? It's a political play. And this political play has caused over 600,000 American lives. I want you to remember that. Starting with Donald Trump and the handling of this pandemic, because it was politicized. It has caused us over 600 million Americans. We need to mitigate that. As he says, the Republican Party has indulged its crazies for too long. Until we unindulge them, more Americans will continue to die, both from their past policies, their present policies, and the policies that they want. And that is something that we fail. If we don't remember, it'll be on us. It will be on us. Let's see. CJ, let's see what we got here. Oh, wow, a lot of messages came in. Bridge MCP says, love this. All right, Squido said, love this show. Dimitri OG says, isn't that where Baby met Johnny, the Catskills? I don't know that. Para ver, Dimitri, Courtney, I'm an easy guy to find. You're on to me. C. Johnson says, if they are willing to hurt their own followers, what will the right do to us? Exactly. Ample supplies of vaccines going to waste. Our nation needs to donate the excess to nations who need it. Agreed. Dimitri, we just searched for the truth. Agreed, says C. Johnson. COVID world death estimated between 7 million and 13 million. Such a wide gulf because there's not enough hospitals. Look, there are a lot of people that are constantly dying in India and other places that don't have the numbering schemes that they use are not really trustworthy. It is sad, but that is where we are. Dimitri says, Courtney, check the out OBF The Real. I think you'd enjoy, and it's very interactive. Macron is doing the right thing. Absolutely so, E2247. Rose Williams says, New York is a terrific state. Diverse cities, great universities, hospitals, and research centers, mountains, lakes, waterfalls, rivers, and the ocean. Amazing hiking trails, lots of forests and farmland alike. Beautiful state. Absolutely so. I've been there several times, but I've never been to the lakes in New York. Sometime I should do that. Michael Rudnan says roughly a third of healthcare workers are not yet vaccinated in the U.S. This is a national disgrace. It is a national disgrace. West boycotts now. Bridge MCP, go Farid. Court MC, let's see what else we got here. D. Rabbit White, no one is forced to go to school. Michael Rudnan says roughly 40% of healthcare workers who work with the seniors are unvaccinated. That is terrible. C. Johnson, exactly. Let's. Jessica Taylor says she loves the report. And West says boycotts and jail. Mainstream media now. All right, let's see. Tom C. Pro-guns, anti-vaccination, anti-universal healthcare, pro-violent insurrection, anti-living wage, etc. Is the GOP the party of death? You know something? Tom C., You just hit on something special. If we were the party selling ourselves as pro-life, and what you just stated is what we actually represented, because again, the Republican Party is pro-gun, it is anti-vax, it is anti-universal health care, it is pro-violent insurrection, it is anti-living wage, and if you add all of that together, it does not add up to pro-life. The types of ads that the Republicans would be able to do if that represented us is astounding. And that we are unable to articulate what you just said, Tom C. What you just said is the perfect ad. Pro-guns, anti-vaccination, anti-universal health care, pro-violent insurrection, anti-living wage. Is the GOP the party of death, or is it pro-life? You decide. I mean, think about the types of ads that you could create with your message, Tom C. I just did that off the cuff from what you've written. Think about if an expert did it. I tell you, we got the best folks watching this stuff, man. Dimitri OG, okay, searching now. All right, let's see. Michael Rodney, Republicans often talk about originalism. George Washington won the Revolutionary War of Independence because the vaccinated he vaccinated. Echo Star says, wear pants in most restaurants. C. Johnson, if they are literally killing their own followers, what will they do to us? Absolutely. Rose Williams, it used to be that Republicans accused Democrats of irresponsibility. Now they think we have the right to be irresponsible. West says he's the enemy of the people. MSM? No. All right, let's see what we got here. Whoa, we got a lot of messages still. GOP has abandoned the concept of personal responsibility. It's all about selfishness now. Conservatives, and that's Echo Star. Michael Rudden says conservatives are only pro-life about the unborn. And the unborn, is it life? We don't know. All right, July 28, 21, brief issue 235, coronavirus daily brief. Thank you for that. Reddit, anything that comes out of someone's body, be it their mouth or uterus, should be one's own self-choice. I agree. Michael Renner, Egberta, that ad, mind if you clip that. I want to share it. Oh, really? Oh, you thought it was good enough for that, Michael? I'll clip that out and send it to you, and we'll do it, Michael. Thank you. Dimitri OG, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Pants are never mentioned. All right, folks, it's 3:30. I'm going to do my quick. You notice I do my ass real quick now, and it shows in that we need to get more clicks. So, okay, folks, if you're listening to us on YouTube, please click that join button and become a part of the PDR Posse, become a member. Please help us out here. And what I'd like to do is ask you as well to go ahead and get our cup. Here are some of the folks who've gotten our cup. Enjoy drinking coffee out of our cup as they listen to Politics Done Right and as they know they're supporting the cause. The cup designed by our leader, Bridge MCP out of New York. You can get the cup right there. And by the way, if you click on that, if you can support us in several ways. Click that join button on YouTube Live, or you can go ahead and give us a super chat. If you give us a super chat right now, I'll throw your name up on the screen right away. Likewise, folks, you can go ahead and support us by simply going to this link, which offers several methods of support. politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. And of course, you can get all our books that you normally see on the screen at politicsdoneright.com/books, politicsdoneright.com/books. We need your support. I'll just be frank about it. We need your support. We cannot do it without you. Oh, I didn't have it on the screen. There we go. We need your support. So please, as soon as you can, get some books, get some cups, get T-shirts or whatever. You can buy the T-shirts, etc. at YouTube, or you can go to our store, politicsdoneright.com/store as well. Okay, I have another great video for you. I first showed you Farid Zakaria. And Farid gave us an indication as why is it that this is a man-made thing, right? I mean, the vaccine was developed so quickly. Actually, that's not true. The mRNA vaccine technology has been in development for decades. And, it's all our monies that developed it. Dimitri, respect and love. Dimitri OG, respect and love. Thank you so kindly for your super chat. Is it a super chat? Yeah, I think you gave us a super chat. Thank you so kindly, Dimitri OG. I got to get that up there now. But yes, folks, so thank you so kindly, Dimitri OG, for your support. As usual, Dimitri is one of our great supporters. Let me tell you something, folks. So as it turns out, Farid showed us that this thing, right? Farid showed us that this thing is really human-made. This thing is something that shouldn't be, because all of us paid for this vaccine that got developed. It got developed very quickly. It's something that we ought to be very proud of, how quickly it got developed. Okay, so yes, we did all of that. Now, here is the deal, however, peeps. Here is the deal, however. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side. Listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side. One of the reasons I have compassion for many of the people on the right, one of the reasons I have compassion for many of those who refuse to take the vaccine, even as I say we have just got to leave them alone if necessary, as long as we keep them away. There's a genesis to all of this. There's a reason for all of this. We learn from our inception, many of us do, to follow the pastor, to be in the church, and to live by the grace of God through what the church makes us believe we should. Now, that goes for a large plurality of the country. Personally, I am a humanist, not a religious person. But when you have a system that has both leniency from the government, we the people, to do as you please, not even paying taxes, it leaves itself, and plus having the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, it puts you in a difficult position. And if you are inherently evil, if you inherently don't care about people, if you inherently have ulterior motives or working for those with ulterior motives, you cause a lot of destruction, you cause a lot of death, you cause a lot of people to do things they would otherwise not do had they not believed in you. I want you to listen to Tennessee Pastor Greg Lott, and you see why many of those folks in areas where these types of evil evangelicals are created or pastoring. This is the result. The results that we see today is caused by this.
Here's what the left has told us. If you comply, if you compromise, if you comply, if you compromise, eventually you'll get in our good graces. No, because you'll never comply enough. You'll never compromise enough. You will never get in the good graces of godless people because all they want is compliance. Now I'm going to go on record and just say something right now while I'm talking about this. They talking about shutting down this nation for round 2. Talking about masking everybody back up, shutting down churches. Hey, my hind leg if they think they gonna shut this church down. There will be serving Frosties in hell before we shut this place down. Just because a buck wild demon-possessed government tells us to. Knock on my door, ask me if I got a vaccine, my hind leg. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. I tell you that right now. Shut the nation down for a second time. You know why? Because people ain't afraid no more. It didn't hurt the economy bad enough. You know what happens when they shut down private businesses? They open government businesses. Government ain't hurt one bit. So all that to say, don't believe this Delta variant nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. I know right-wing watching. I don't care. If they go through round 2 and you start showing up all these masks and all this nonsense, I'll ask you to leave. I will ask you to leave. I am not playing these Democrat games up in this church. If you want a social distance, go to First Baptist Church, but don't come to this one. I'm done with it. I ain't playing these stupid games. Bunch of pastors talking about how much they want to see people healed. They're afraid to baptize people because of a Delta variant. I'm sick of it. They've already said it. Fox News just put it out. Yeah, Todd Starnes, he's a pretty good guy, right? He said, they're going for round 2. They're going to shut down the nation. My hind leg, they're going to shut us down. Don't you go for it. They say, well, you know, if you would just comply, this whole thing would go away. You really believe that? It's never going to go away because you've been compliant about it. They know who's going to be a problem, and they know who they can control. And I don't care what you or anybody else say. I'm going to be a problem moving forward. I'm not giving in to this mess. I'm not playing with this mess.
You have to wonder, does he even believe what he is saying? You have to wonder, don't you think he had the vaccine? After all, he can't show up sick in front of 1,000 people or so. He can't show up sick. Because he knows a few people in his audience are going to get sick. And when they get sick, he'll just have to say, well, the Lord, that's how the Lord meant it. But I'm the pastor leading you. I'm not going to get sick. Because, you know, deep inside he knows. Maybe did he have the vaccine? I don't know. But if you want to know why your brothers and sisters are in the state that they're in, just look closely. This is who they're following. These are the words that lead them. These are the guys that are evil and the danger, a clear and present danger to the entire country. And I hope you see that. You know, I hope you see that. This is, you know, that is why I have to love everybody. Because I understand the forces that are coming from all sides. And I have friends, relatives, all of that are religious. And their dedication to their religion is real. And when you start to when you have faith in a certain thing, you don't require, you are not necessarily objective. You know, teaching true, absolute objectivity is difficult. That is what I've tried to attain, true objectivity. Whereas if you point out that something that I believe in that is supposedly progressive, if you show me that it is at fault, if you show me that it is wrong, I would immediately change my stance. I have no commitment to ideology. While my ideology is progressive, whatever doesn't work in that domain, I will change because ultimately, for me, it is what's best for humanity. But some folks forget that. They are so attached to ideology and behavior that it's next to impossible for them to change. One of the things I hope to get to us is changing, saying you're wrong, saying that you're, you know, I mean, I tell you what I want to do before I go further. I want to play the White House report first. And here's why. Because what these people do is they hawk onto the same thing over and over and over again, and it creates an issue. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and play my last video, and then the rest of the day is dedicated to talking to you guys from what you write on the screen, because it's going to bleed into what I want to say. Check this out. Previously, I showed a clip of a pastor that pretty much told his congregation that the Delta variant to the COVID virus was somehow a hoax or something like that. He also told his congregation, if you come here with a mask, we're going to throw you out of church. If you want to wear a mask or social distance, supposedly to stop yourself from getting a vaccine, go to the First Baptist Church or Second Baptist Church. Don't come to our church. Don't come to our evangelical church here. I mean, so everybody thinks it's the right wing that's so bad with why people are so misinformed. That's true. It is also Republicans that are adopting certain philosophies that also make their people less likely to take the vaccine. In other words, they're killing their own. But that's not the only problem. We have reporters who simply seem to lack critical thinking in the way they ask questions. And the way they ask questions, instead of information to flow or allowing people to get the information that will make them make the right decisions, it actually opens more questions because it gives one the impression that, oh, maybe you shouldn't really have to do that because after all, the president said this before, and then now look at what he's saying. Check this out, then we'll take it on the other side.
The president's message was get vaxxed or masked, and now it's get vaxxed and masked in some cases. So does he regret sending the message that it was a binary choice there?
Well, Leisha, I think that those comments were back in May. And as I noted at the time, the Delta variant was by no means a variant the variant that it is today. It was not even I can look at this specific data, but it was 99% of cases were not Delta at the time. That was based on guidance from the CDC. Today, they're changing their guidance. They're changing their advice to the American public, their public health advice, based on evolving data and an evolving historical guidance. That virus. That's exactly what they should be doing.
And then on the CDC guidance, why did the president say, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask? Let me repeat, if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask, if it was possible that that was going to turn out not to be true.
Well, Peter, I think we're all dealing with an evolving virus where there's no playbook and no historic precedent. And what the American people should feel confident in is that we are going to continue to be guided by science, look at public health data in order to provide new guidance if it's needed to save lives, protect the American people. When he made those comments back in May, we were dealing with a very different strain of the virus than we are today. And Delta is more transmissible. It's spreading much more quickly. It was nearly non-existent in the United States back in May.
And so my last one would be, you guys have been saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. If that is coming from the CDC, is the president satisfied with the leadership at the CDC right now?
The president is satisfied with the fact that they are continuing to look at public health data and provide public health guidance to the American public about how they can protect their lives and the lives of loved ones around them.
And if it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated still, then why do vaccinated people need to put the masks back on?
Well, Peter, first of all, I would say again, just to go back to this chart, which I will handily point to again, if you were vaccinated, it can save your life. And I think the clear data shows that this pandemic is killing, is hospitalizing, is making people very sick who are not vaccinated. That still continues to be the case, regardless of what the mask guidance looks like.
The vaccines work, which this sign says that they do. Then why do people who have had the vaccine need to now wear masks, the same as people who have not had it?
Because the public health leaders in our administration have made the determination based on data that that is a way to make sure they're protected, their loved ones are protected, and that's an extra step given the transmissibility of the virus.
Now look, the virus is changing. If the virus is changing and it behaves differently, then of course the rules to fight the virus would likely change as well. That is why previously you would need to wear a mask if you were completely vaccinated. Now you're asked to wear a mask if you're completely vaccinated, not simply not to get remnants of a virus in your system, but because if you are infected and vaccinated, even though you will not necessarily get very sick or sick at all, there's a possibility because of the viral load in your system that you will also transmit the virus, even though you are as healthy as they can because your system is fighting the virus appropriately. So therefore, you wear a mask for the total community, for the protection of the community. Now, we wouldn't have to do that if we didn't have a large percentage of unvaccinated people. So most of the people that will complain are unvaccinated, and the reason the vaccinated ones will have to wear a mask is because there are many people unvaccinated. The reason the virus is going to change and continuously mutate is that if you have a whole lot of unvaccinated people who are catching the virus, as the virus replicates, it gives it more opportunities to mutate. And mutate means changing its structure, which eventually will likely defeat the vaccine that we're all protected by now. These are simple things, and if the right questions are asked, that really need to be answered, most Americans will get it. But if it is made that it's not scientific, if it is made that somehow there's some trickery here, or there's some trying to control you there, or why did you say this before and now you're saying this, as if you were mistaken to say what you said before, when what you're dealing with is a virus that's changing because people are not following the rules of today. Folks, reporters are just as bad, many of them at that White House, as the right-wing media, as well as the evangelical preachers and the Republican politicians that are willfully ignorant. And that is the issue. Now, I'm looking at the screen as I'm speaking, and what it says here is we are few in highlights, breaking news, we are a few mutations away from the current vaccine not working. You think? Do you think? Remember the common cold? Why we can't really have a vaccine for the common cold? Because we've forever failed to knock it completely out so that things don't change or you don't have different permutations thereof. But anyhow, I went and I did this on Daily Kos, and I want to read a piece that I wrote on Daily Kos, just a couple of paragraphs. I said, Psaki does a good job of providing the answers to repetitive questions, but my God, if 3 reporters do not know the answers by now, their critical skills are suspect. They should be writing their articles to explain to the American people what they should know. After all, it is simple. The vaccine is safe as millions worldwide and in America have taken it without issues of consequence. If all Americans get vaccinated, the virus will burn out because it does not have a host to replicate in. Viruses need the host to replicate in. The unvaccinated prevent that burnout and, in fact, causes replication and mutation. The mutation requires a behavior change and, as such, a change in guidelines. The vaccinated, while still protected, can spread the virus. We want stasis in guidelines. If we want stasis in guidelines, then everyone should get vaccinated. The unvaccinated ensure that the lives of all are uncomfortable. That is the message. No more questions will change that reality. We have got to stick with what is the message. And those of you listening to this, let's go ahead, share this, let people understand this, please. Please. Don't hate on them, inform them. Yvette Avery Herod says, I was an anti-vaxxer, but I got my first dose this week. It keeps hitting too close to home. We lost someone on Saturday. Thank you, Yvette. And I wish I knew, as a friend, as a great friend, Yvette, I wish I knew you were an anti-vaxxer, because I would have reached out and said, my friend, here's the deal. Many of us have reasons to not trust the medical system, specifically POCs, because we've been used as experiments over and over again. But this time, coming from a POC, I'm telling you folks, get vaccinated. Don't only save your life, save the lives of your loved ones, save the lives of those you don't know. The right wing, they're vaccinated. Don't let them fool you. They're vaccinated. But they are willing to kill you to get back into power by assuming getting you sick will make people be so scared that they think it is right. Yes, I agree with Jessica Taylor. Thank you for being open to helping humanity. To Yvette Avery Herod. Yvette, you telling us that now, you would not imagine how many doors for all the people that are going to read what you've just said and heard me and heard all those who are commending you right now. You just saved a whole lot of lives, Yvette. You just did. And Michael as well says, I was hesitant to take the vaccine for the first 2 months after it was released. I was following the evidence, waiting for the reports of widespread side effects, which never came. When my turn came up, I took the vaccine. And my sister's a doctor. I made sure to consult her quite often as far as, is this real? Is this the right thing to do? And she said, Berto, if you don't do it, you're a fool. That's what she told her own brother. And I did. Let's see. My pastor held up his COVID vaccination card and said, next Sunday and can't produce your card, you'll be asked to leave. Now I'll go back to church rather than watch it on TV. Wow. I love your pastor, Paul. I love your pastor. How do we overcome the ignorance? Love and talking. And I'm serious. I'm really, really serious. It's not saying directly to the person, you are an idiot. No. That's not what it. Because as they really say, there are various reasons why some people don't do it. And when you see a pastor talking to a devoted pew like that, how do you compete with the pastor? How do you compete with God's deliverer? Love, information, and you have to bring those, you have to prove that these guys are in fact evil. They are evil. Let's see what else we got here. Next up, Echo variant, Foxtrot variant, Gulf variant. Look, as Dr. Fauci has pointed out, we're a few mutations away from these vaccines not working. We need to stop the mutations by stopping the host. The hosts are the unvaccinated. Let's see what else. Vax is working. 9,000 dead in the USA, 350 dead in Australia. Total. Okay, let's see. Daniel Edo, should the vaccine be mandatory? Look, that's a difficult question, right? If in a dictatorship, the vaccine would be mandatory and people would live and the country would do great. There's a breakoff between freedom and not. And here's my thing. I would want, if we cannot keep the unvaccinated out of if we cannot mandate that the unvaccinated don't kill me, if we cannot mandate that the unvaccinated don't come into my space and cause me harm, if we can't ensure that, under that scenario, it should be mandatory. Kids can't go to school if they don't have the mumps rubella vaccine. That's a good place to start. But for national security, there are a lot of things that we mandate that people do. I think this can become a national security issue, and I would mandate it. Yeah, I would mandate it. You are making me think in real time, Daniel Ledo, and I think I would. Eric Hayes, so what does it mean? Let's see what we got. Bridge says, my house agent would not take the vaccine, and she was showing my house. Love on her and keep talking to her. And, I was hesitant to take the vaccine. That was Michael. I read that one. Carl Cox says, viruses always mutate and evolve. That's called evolution, something that religious zealots can't accept. God gave people a brain to think. Too many don't want to use their brains. Nicholas E2247 says, Nicholas Wade on staff of Nature Science, New York Times, wrote groundbreaking article, The Origin of COVID, Did People or Nature Open Pandora's Box at Wuhan? Destroys brain, lungs, heart. Lived 3 to 3 years late, I heard. No vax. The article started the controversy. Tom C. says, treat anti-vaxxers like smokers. If you smoke, your insurance rates go up. Same for those who refuse to get vaccinated. But we also have to, the difference between smoke and this virus is, if you give it to me, I can die. If you smoke in front of me, it takes a lot of times me being around you before it really causes me material damage. That's the problem. Jesus would take the vaccine. I'm sure he would. Eric Hayes, dictation. I don't know what that means, Eric. Michael Wren says, vaccine should be mandatory for military, government workers, and healthcare workers. I can't disagree. Carrie B.Y. says, West. Carl Cox says, freedom doesn't mean ignorance. True. E2247, General George Washington mandated smallpox vaccine for Continental Army warriors. E2247, it was good enough for Washington. It should be good enough for the current U.S. populace. Norman Reynolds says, why do we give religious institution a tax break? I have no idea. Trust me, I don't. Peggy Lopez, here is the rich old white church members had a phone number to call to get a vaccine appointment. Early on, I had to write a letter to the editor to get a vaccine. Now anti-vaxxers rule. Wow. Rose Williams, I have believed from the beginning that this is a matter of national security. I do believe that too. Daniel Lado, Egberto's true nature comes out. He would force you to take the vaccine. True to his Marxist ideology. Is it Marxist to require you to have a driver's license? Is it Marxist to require that you have a vaccine to enroll your kids in school? I know that's what you were. I know that is where you were heading to, Daniel, when I answered. I knew that's where you were going. But you know what? To save lives, I don't mind anybody calling me whatever they want to call me. I really don't. If whatever I say is able to save any lives, if whatever Yvette said, save any lives, if whatever Bridge MCP said, save any lives, it's worth it. I don't think the fact that Yvette came out here and said, I used to be anti-vax, but it came too close to home. Thank you, Yvette. And I mean that from the depths of my heart. You just saved lives. Because there are a lot of people who simply will not do it because they will not change how they thought before. And you have given them the right to do it. You have given them an excuse to do it. You have given them a reason to do it. Thank you. Let's see. Daniel Lado said, to save lives, we should not allow anybody to drive. Reductio al absurdum. Reductio al absurdum. All right. I am going to miss you for a few weeks, Bridge MCP. If you have a cell phone, remember, it goes across on those cell phones nicely. A lot of our listeners listen to it on the cell phone, and you can the app, the YouTube app is very good, and it gives notifications on your cell phone, both for both the Apple and the Droid. So please, I don't want to miss you so badly, Bridge MCP. I want to see you. I want to hear from you. But anyhow, I'm playing. If you can't, you can't. But look, check in so often. Drop us a line, even if it's just an email or whatever. You know we love you out here. Norman Reynolds says, the deaths from failed towers in Miami due to the lack of listening to a PE is like this anti-vax stuff. That is true. Robert Lewis gave a big, big hands up clap to this. Bridge MCP will try reception. Thank you, my beautiful Bridge. Jessica says, yes, I'm gonna miss you too, Bridge. Michael Rudnin says, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 94% of serious crashes are due to dangerous choices or errors people make behind the wheel. Love your brother, Bridge MCP. We got to get out of here. It's 4:02. We are late. Love you all. My name is Egberto. Beforehand, please, folks, support the show. Go to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.